Hey everybody, I hope everybody's having a good day. I'm making a video about what the weather's gonna be like in 2026. This is a continuing. Now it's gonna be. I did fall. Now I'm doing winter. First, I'm gonna do New England because that's where I'm from. So, are we gonna have a harsh winter? That's the question I'm gonna ask. Are we gonna have a harsh winter? Are we gonna get a lot of snow? Are people gonna rush to get water, sand, food? Are we gonna have a rough winter? Are we gonna have a rough winter? Please tell me if we're going to have a rough winter in New England. Four cards. And I'm also doing for what's my vibe. I like to do what's my vibe? Please tell me. Are we going to have a harsh winter in 2026 and 2027? Meaning, I consider late November till March. Are we going to have a rough winter? Oh, wow. All right. It says new beginnings. It's going to be new beginning with the weather. I guess it's going to be a little more harsher. I feel like it might get a little harsher. And people are going to try to take pleasure of being in the winter, like making snowman, going skiing, snowboarding. They're going to try to think positive about it. Some people are going to think about being positive about it. And they're going to have a venture. Maybe they'll go on a trip during the winter months. Maybe they'll drive before it gets bad or take a plane before it gets bad and go somewhere on a trip somewhere where it's warm so they don't have to deal with it. Some people who can afford it. Some people are going to be negative, self-talk. They're going to be negative about the snow, like, oh God, here we go, another season with snow. People are going to be negative, like, oh God, we're going to have a foot of snow or 16 inches and we're going to have to plow ourselves out. We're going to have to stay indoors and, hibernate, and but a lot of people are going to be optimists. There's going to be people like, hey, go with the punches. You have to live with the snow because this happens every year for whatever amount of years you've been alive, and you have to move on. You can't just cuddle up and die over it. So yeah, people are gonna have to move on. Lack of planning. There's a lot of people who won't plan for snowstorms and harsh weather. Like they might not, have enough food, water, batteries. A lot of people don't. They only plan for a week's advance. They don't plan for, in case there's a power outage or the wind or the snow coming down or rain or hail. They don't plan. There's a lot of people who don't plan. And there's going to be unexpected delay. Maybe food won't come to the supermarket because of the roads are going to be slippery. So there's going to be delays on food going on. People might not be able to have kids go to school. There'll be delays on people going to work. Kids having delays going to school, coming home. I feel like there's going to be delays if kids have to go to school, and food and people going to work. There's going to be delays because of the weather bad. You can't go out, like in the blizzard of 78. I was a little kid when that happened, or other blizzards where there were delays. You were stuck where you were and you had to move on and move out, kind of thing. But there's people going to be nurturing, caring about people. There's going to be like the nurses, the doctors, parents who are going to be nurturing and caring about you and taking care of you. You're like, we're going to give you hot cocoa, or we're going to take care of you when the weather is bad. So, and the paramedics and the police, they're going to be nurturing. Some of them are going to be nurturing. There's going to be consequences, though, when the weather is bad. Power outages, There's going to be people who drive when you're not supposed to. People are going to say, oh, there's going to be, I feel like people are going to have consequences, like, you know how they say you don't go on the road if it's too dangerous. There's going to be consequences. People are going to go out on the road even though they're not told to, and they'll have consequences. They're going to hit into phone poles. They're going to get stuck, where in their car because they didn't listen to people. And they feel like there's mixed signals. They feel like it. That's what it says, mixed signals. And there's boundaries. You have enough is enough. Some people say it's enough that have to be stuck in the winter. They don't want to do it. They said enough is enough. They're tired of the snow. People are going to be tired of the snow very quickly. A lot of people don't like it. They're going to be stuck. And they're going to defend themselves and don't care what people think. But there's going to be chaos and disaster with the snowstorm, and the rain and the wind. Yeah, a lot of people are going to have their roofs collapsing. The pipes are going to freeze. A lot of trouble is going to happen in the fall. In the winter, sorry. There's going to be a disaster, downfall, chaos, with the wind. Yeah, I feel like there's going to be a lot of chaos and problems in the winter coming in New England. A possibility, make up your mind. People have to make up a mind ahead of time to plan to bring more food, get more food. Like I constantly say, stack up on food, water, batteries. If you can afford a generator, it's good to have a generator. If you can afford one. It doesn't have to be the kind that you plug in the thing, or even a small one that you can charge your phone or your phone for a couple days. Believe, and it says believe in yourself, and believe in yourself, and you can pack and pack and get your stuff before the blizzard comes. So it says it's going to come. We're going to have it says we're going to have a blizzard in New England. We're going to have bad weather, and some people are going to roll with the punches. Other people are going to bitch and complain about it. All right, now I'm going to do the Midwest. What's the weather going to be like in the Midwest? I did New England. Is it going to be rainy? Is it going to be cold? Is it going to be dry? Midwest. Please tell me. In the winter, is it going to be dry? Is it going to rain? Is it going to be any tiny little bit of snow? Midwest. Oh, it's not going to snow. I know that much. That's what it says. And all right. All right. So it says some people think it's unfair the way the weather is going to be this winter in the Midwest. They're saying, oh, God. A lot of people probably like to ski, and they said, oh, God, I wish I was down in New England and, where the snow is so we could go skiing. Or they think it's unfair because of it being dry and hot, and they're tired of it. So and people are going to be dishonest. They're dishonest. They think the people aren't telling the truth, like the meteorologist isn't telling the truth, like what the weather's going to be really like. Some people don't think they're being dishonest, the weatherman. I'm just saying, some people think they are, and they think they're going to punish the weatherman. I don't know how you can do that, but there's a loss of emotional control. People going to be emotional controlled. They can't show their emotions, and they're going to lose control. They're going to get angry because of the weather. They're going to have any excuse to lash out. I feel like they're going to have any excuse to lash out and blame someone when the weather gets colder in the Midwest. And there's some people who are going to develop some skills. Maybe they're going to do, when it's not as hot, maybe they'll do gardening or take a hobby like I don't know, learn how to ride a bicycle, do something that what they normally don't do. Go, do a hobby. It says do a hobby, learn a new skill. There might be financial. Maybe they'll pick up a hobby that will make money for them. Like an arts and craft thing. That's how I feel. Like some of these people are gonna, think outside of the box when the weather is bad. They're gonna try to find a new skill, a new hobby to do that will pay them. So there's going to be self-discipline where people are going to discipline themselves with the way the weather is. They're going to say, hey, I'm going to have to take it where it comes. What comes around goes around. So they're going to have to. But there's going to be some people lacking control because they get angry very easily because of the weather. They get moody because it's the temperature's getting lower, and and they're careless. Like maybe they drive when they're not supposed to, when the weather is bad. If there's a rainstorm, so they're careless. Like if it's thundering, lightning, or something. Maybe if there's hurricanes. I mean, if there's tornadoes or hurricanes, they'll be careless. They should stay indoors, and people are going to be driving. So some people are going to be, and some people want to escape the weather in the Midwest. They want to leave. They want to pack up the bags and leave. They don't want to be stuck in this weather. But some people will just enjoy the weather and just get loose and say, it's not going to bother me. I'm going to laugh about it. I'm going to enjoy my time in the winter. They're not going to be carefree. They'll be carefree and don't give a damn what people think. They're just going to enjoy, and they're going to heal from it. And a lot of people are going to be wishful thinking. Like I said, they'll be happy, and they'll just think positive thoughts, wishful thinking, and there might be a second chance of doing something. Uh, uh, Addictions. There's some people who are going to have bad addictions to like drugs and alcohol during the winter months. Maybe it's because they get cooped up. They want to drink or do drugs or something. They said some people will be because they'll be bored. They don't. They make bad decisions. Maybe being stuck indoors and they don't have an outlet. There might not be a lot of things to do, so they drink and druggy. So, yeah, they're going to have problems. People are going to bitch and complain. There's some people going to bitch and complain, and some people are going to go with the flow, like I said, in New England. And some people are going to be having ideas of maybe there's other things that they can do, like other hobbies like they can make money from in the Midwest. Now I'm going to do California and the states there. What's the winter going to be like in California and that part of United States? What's it going to be like in California and that part of the West Coast and those states over there? Is it going to be dry? Is it going to be hot? Is it going to be sticky? Or something going to be, are they going to have a cool enough period? Or are they going to always have it? Or is it going to rain or something? Please tell me. Is it going to be hot and sticky like always? Please tell me. Do. All right. In winter in California and the Midwest, people are going to be strong about it. They're not going to let it bother them because they're so used to this weather, the heat, and the lack of rain. You can't grow too much stuff because if it does, it dries out. So they're used to it. So they have inner strength. They're going to like roll with the punches. A lot of people are going to roll with the punches because they're used to this heat and the weather, cooling down a little bit. They're used to it, in Arizona and all those states. People are used to it. So There are going to be new emotions. Maybe some people feel like leaving, go on a trip, maybe go to Europe or something. Maybe people will travel because they're going to try something different. A lot of these people from California or want to go somewhere else. Maybe they'll go on a trip because they're tired of the weather. So they know the weather is hot and sticky, even though it's winter in California and in Arizona and those states. They want to go somewhere else. Maybe they go to Europe or place where it's less hot, Canada or wherever. So I feel that a lot of people will want to leave, and they have raw emotions. They get some people get upset about it, but there's going to be hope. Other people think, oh, we're going to have to learn to deal with it. A lot of people are going to deal with it, like, we have to live with this, unless you have to move out of the state of California or Arizona or those states. They just, they're used to it. They're going to be hopeful, and hey, we're going to have to just live through another couple the season. You have to live through it, and also they're going to be calm about it. Like the seniors and the people, they're so used to it. And the baby boomers and everything, they're used to, in California, the weather being that. So they're going to be calm and say cool and collected and say, this is it. And shattered dreams. There's some people who are shattered dreams about the weather because they're tired of it being polluted. You know how there's smog and pollution and all the bad weather that happens in California, mudslides and pollution. And it's disharmony. People don't like the pollution it's building, and driving in cars with stuff. They want better things like I know they do have battery operated cars, but they want more environmental safe thing. I feel like they want more things. People want to. They struggle in relationships with their family members when it comes to this weather. I guess it gets to them, and there's a lot of broken families. Like a lot of people, marriages don't end up surviving in, I guess, the winter. Maybe that's the most vulgar is when people's marriages break down is in the winter months. So yeah, people are not going to be happy in California in that part of it, and they'll feel betrayed. Like, how dare you cheat on me or break up this family during this time of month after Christmas or whatever, New Year's or whatever, or after Thanksgiving? How can you cheat and with me after the holidays and break this family or friends? So they feel betrayed and upset that people would. And there's some people who are very nasty and tricky, kind. And a lot of people are going to move on after the breakup and say, if you don't want to be here, why don't you just leave? And just say, move on. If you don't want to be in this marriage or relationship, just move on. If you don't like being here, just move on. Tough. I'm staying where I am. You're not going to get the house. You're not going to get the kids. You're not going to get the dog or the money, getting away. A lot of people are going to get away during, like I said, during the months in California because they get tired of the weather. They want something nicer, even though I don't know how much nicer it is, but they want to be relaxed and have fun. But there's some psychopaths in California, so watch out. There's some people who are psychopaths in the winter. Just watch yourself, watch your back. There's some psychopaths. Some people who are abusive. Watch out for relationships about people being abusive toward you, men or female. Watch out. There's people who pretend to be nice and friendly, but then turn on you, so be careful. And also there's legal, like I said, people want divorce, people, legal problems, people complain because the weather, they make an excuse to do anything, like people are moving on from a divorce, and like I said, they've broken family, so they're going to move on, and then they get a divorce. So a lot of people are going to get divorced in the winter. I'm not saying that's the main reason because of the winter, but people feel betrayed because they've been cheated, and they go to the court and they get the papers to get a divorce. So yeah, it's going to be a hard time in 2026 in to 2027 in California and Arizona and those places. A lot of people are going to do okay like the other ones, but a lot of people don't, and a lot of people want to travel, and there will be some people betraying each other and getting divorces or so. Okay, now I'm going to do Florida and that part of Florida, 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 Virginia, West Virginia, New Orleans, all that part, the seaboard. We're going to do that. Is it going to be in winter? Is it going to be a lot of flooding? Or, is it going to be cooler? Or is it going to be the same? Or are we going to have a little bit of hurricanes, even though that usually ends in November? But is it going to be weird weather in Florida, Virginia, New Orleans, and all these other states? Are we going to have a weird season? Are we having... Okay. Oh, brother. I'm going to shuffle this better. Sometimes you have to shuffle. That's better. I had the same cards. I don't want the same cards because it doesn't give a good reading. Okay, now that's better. Oh, brother. Oh, boy. All right. In Florida, New Orleans, and there's going to be a lot of judging, because of the weather, because it's, cooler there. People, like complain about the weather, but a lot of people are reckoning. There's a reckoning that something's going to happen. Like maybe the weather's not going to be as hot. Maybe it'll be cooler. It won't be as hot as it in the winter. And letting go. The people are going to let go of complaint. A lot of people are going to let go of complaining because what's the use of complaining? You have to let go, of their ideal, thinking that it's going to be more than it is with the weather, like it's going to be warmer or it's going to be cooler. People are just going to let go of the idea, saying, hey, this is the way the weather is in the winter in Florida. You have to accept it. A lot of people going to let go of thinking, lack of long-term vision. A lot of people lack term vision because they, when you go to, a lot of people in Florida go there to retire, so they don't want to, a lot of people who retire go down there, so they don't really want to do, start a business. They want to relax, they want to take it out, chill. I feel like that. They don't really want to work without results. If they do work, there's not much results. They feel like it's not much results working there in Florida because people, think it's more of a tourist thing in Florida or those other places. But they want teamwork. They want people to work together. And during the winter time, they want people to work together and be a good team and not, stick together, like be the Three Musketeers. They want them to be, and they want them to build something, during the winter months. But there's people who are going to be shattered. There's a lot of negativity. People are going to complain, like I said in the other readings. A lot of people like to bitch and complain about the weather. They have nightmares and they complain to other people. They have nightmares. There's people who double life. Some people have a double life where they pretend they have a double life and they cheat. They cheat on the loved one, like their husband, the wife, or the significant other. They cheat, they lie, and they backstab. They say that they're going to be somewhere when they're really with another girl, another guy, or they're they said they're at this job when they're not really at this job, they're at another job. So there's a lot of backstabbing. People are going to be cheating, stabbing each other, and not being honest about it. There's going to be drama in the winter in Florida. People are going to make it a big deal about the weather in Florida and that part of New Orleans, Virginia, all those. Yeah, people. There's going to be arguments. People are going to make an excuse to complain. And there's going to be people who are incompatible with each other, that they don't get along. With different personalities. People, because often a lot of people with different personalities do clash. So there's people going to be clashing, and soulmates. There's going to be some people who will meet and start dating in Florida. Maybe the senior will meet another senior, or someone will come and they start dating and they find their soulmates. So they, at an older age, or they might find someone that's compatible. So I think some people are going to meet their soulmate in Florida or something like that. So there's people that are going to be, like I said in the other readings, and other, that people are going to complain, but there's some people who are going to take the initiative and go with the flow, and some people are going to be backstabbing, and some people are going to find their soulmate in Florida, which is great. All right, now I'm going to do Texas and that part. Just tell me what's going to happen in Texas. That this is the last of the reading in winter in the United States. Maybe I'll do Alaska. I know that's in Hawaii. I'll do that some other time. But what's in Texas and those states? What's the weather going to be like in the winter in Texas and that part of the states? Please tell me. What's going to happen in Texas and those states? Please tell me what's going to happen in Texas and those states in the winter. Please tell me. Oh, brother. Oh, some of this is very dark and negative. Don't hold it against me. This is entertainment purposes. I just go what the cards tell me. So if some of it's negative, it is what it is. That's the way the cards run. The action. A lot of people want to do stuff in Texas because it's nice weather. They say, hey, I want to go out and do something. Maybe they'll take a walk, have a picnic, go on a trip somewhere. A lot of people want to take action, and feel so confident. So this is positive, finally. So people in Texas and those kind of states will be positive. Some of people will be positive. They want to travel. They want to go out, have picnics, maybe go swimming if the weather's tolerable in the beginning. But there's conflicts. Some people won't want to go out and do it. So people are gonna, be party poopers where they don't want to participate, travel or doing things. They just want to be housebound and just be pity party. So there's a lot of conflicts. There's disagreement. Like, oh, I want to stay home and watch television. Hey, it's a nice day. Why don't we go for a walk or a picnic with our dog or do something with the kids? No, I want to stay. So there's going to be disagreements, or they might want to go. One person wants to go one place, another person goes another, and there will be disagreements. People are going to fight. And there's going to be some people who are in an abusive relationship, where people are nasty, vocal, or abusive, emotional, immature. There's a lot of people who are going to be immature, that's in life. You're going to become, in Texas and those states, people are going to be around people who in the winter that are very immature, who are like teenagers, young people, or even some adults that are very immature, who that act like a kid when they should be an adult. And they're going to be creative blocks. People want to do something, but they're blocked because they don't know what to do. But some people are going to some people are moving on. Maybe some people want to move on out of Texas or them and do something else with them, or they might move on, like leave their job or retire early or quit the job and move on and do some other work. And also, it doesn't say too much about the weather, how bad the weather's going to be. It says it's going to be somewhat, but not that bad. Second chances. There's going to be second chances in the weather. You know, it might get good sometime and sometimes it won't. Also, in relationships, some people, after having a fight, are going to give their other a second chance. And they're going to wishful thinking, hoping that they can change this person. But the person who has bad addictions to alcohol and drugs and, you know, does addictions, all kinds of addictions, maybe to gambling or having affairs and or different kinds of addictions. It doesn't always have to do drinking and drugging. It can be a gambling or an affairs. So yeah, people are going to feel betrayed and there's going to be fights and everything. And hopelessness. There's going to be a lot of hopelessness, even though Texas has a lot of money in Dallas or Austin and stuff, but I'm talking about the places that don't have a lot of money. There's going to be a lot of homelessness where people feel upset, or there might be some people homeless that live out on the street. And there's going to be people who are depressed during the holiday season. You know, how people get depressed around Christmas or after Christmas, New Year's. Some people will be depressed, and there's some people who are going to do suicide. They're going to take their own life, like jump off a bridge, take pills. I'm just saying what it says. I don't think people should take their own life. If, you know, if they need help, they should talk to someone. I don't encourage that, but I'm just saying this is entertainment purposes. There's some people who are going to commit suicide, which is bad. But anyway, but the archangel protection, he wants to protect the people from depression and the thoughts of suicide, and he wants also to protect the people from addictions and being wishful thinking. So yeah, so this angel wants to protect the people who are suicidal and the people who have addictions, bad addictions, and he's trying to be wishful thinking. The archangel is trying to be wishful thinking. I have to do that. Yeah, he wants to be wishful thinking. Some people are going to be wishful thinking the weather's not that bad. Some people are going to do suicide, which is bad. Some people are going to lie and cheat on their significant other. They might be abusive. And so it's not going to be all cherries and Shibboleth in Texas and that. So that's all I have to say for winter. In my other videos, I'll do spring, and also I'll do Alaska, even though it's mainly cold there, and Hawaii and stuff like that. And I'll also do Canada and Europe, what the weather is going to be like in Europe. I think the next one after this is the United States. After the spring, I'm going to do Europe, because I think that would be really interesting. So the European friends that out there, I'll be doing that. I'm in by September. I think I'll start doing the reading in September of the fall, because I want to do that before in 2026. So until my next video, take care and bye.